Hello, and welcome to Release Readiness Live. I'm Elna Miller, your Release Readiness champion. We are broadcasting from our home studios this week as we bring you some of the new features from the Summer 20 release. After our product managers give the highlights, we'll take some of your questions live and on the air. So we will be monitoring both the Release Readiness Trailblazers community as well as Twitter. So if you do have a question, please post it in one of those places. Use the hashtag Salesforce Live. And if you can ask the question earlier in the webcast, that would be really helpful. If we don't get your question live and on the air, don't worry, we will follow up with you within the next few days. All of our webcasts will be available for later viewing on the Salesforce Live website. Now, we may be talking about the roadmap or making some forward-looking statements. So please make sure that any purchasing decisions you make are based on currently available functionality. Now let's get started with Pardot and meet our product managers.
Hi, my name is Allison Kazort. I am a senior product manager with Pardot. I focus on Engagement Studio and the new email and lightning send experience for Pardot. I'm really excited to talk to you today about all that's ahead for Pardot, so let's go ahead and dive in. I want to start by highlighting one of the things that makes Pardot great, which is actually the inspiration we get from all of you to help drive our innovation. We delivered a ton of new features in the past year, many of which came directly from our community. In Summer 19 release, we delivered Campaign History Dashboard and Engage default templates. Winter 20 was packed with community-requested features such as campaign snippets and complex rules for Engagement Studio. The trend continues in Spring 20 with features such as prospect resubscribe customization and export visitor activity API. Overall, we delivered more than 12,000 idea exchange points. Salesforce and Pardot are all about marketing and sales working together to achieve your business objectives. So when we think about our product roadmap, we've been focused on 4 key themes. To ensure your marketing and sales organizations are aligned and can scale as your business grows, we're continuing to invest in the Lightning platform. Sales and marketing productivity is also a key element for growth, so we're looking at ways to help both teams be more productive and efficient. With marketing analytics, we will continue to make it easy for anyone to understand and improve campaign performance and overall marketing ROI. And artificial intelligence is changing the game and is key to unlocking the next level of productivity and effectiveness for both sales and marketing. I'm going to now hand things over to Nathan to tell you all about our first theme, One Platform.
Thanks, Allison. My name is Nathan Maffett. I'm a director of product here at Pardot. I work on the team that oversees our integration with Salesforce and Pardot to work together to make a great, seamless experience. So today, I'm excited to talk to you about some of the new features we have coming on the Lightning platform with Pardot. We'll start with what's coming out for this release and then check back later for what we have planned for future releases. The first new feature I'd like to highlight is first-party cookie tracking. If you're following the industry trends, there's a lot of activity around third-party cookies. The industry is moving away from third-party cookies due to increasing concerns around security and privacy. While Google has extended its timeline for blocking third-party cookies, this change is coming. We want to make sure that our customers are well equipped for when that occurs. Starting this release, you'll be able to create first-party tracking cookies for your individual tracker domains. You can do this as well as third-party cookies to give you more than enough time to transition away. And along with creating first-party cookies, we've introduced new features for tracking. You'll be able to do additional request validation on the analytics side to make sure that you uphold your customers' privacy and security. And you'll be able to set a default campaign for all your tracker domains, so you won't need to reset the tracking codes every time a campaign is changed. This is in beta for this release. It will be generally available in a coming update. All customers will be able to turn on the feature from within their Pardot settings. Next up, we have the Developer Sandbox for Pardot. This was originally launched in beta last release. For this release, it will be included in our top tier editions for Pardot. This allows you to turn on a Pardot sandbox from within a Salesforce sandbox. Provides full access to test all the key points of Pardot and Salesforce integration, from things like multiple business unit creation to even the newest version of our connector. You'll be able to test and plan out all your integration and configuration changes ahead of time while within a safe environment. No worries about accidentally triggering an automation or email send. And this version is just the beginning. More features are planned for Pardot sandboxes, which we'll return to later. Another way that we want to support marketing admins and developers is by leveraging the platform to open up new ways of interacting with Pardot data. One key method is that we have been expanding our API offering with new asynchronous bulk methods. These are designed to allow you to easily import and export large amounts of data for your key objects without exceeding your API limits. You can then offload those data sets, whether for your own on-site backup or for a larger data warehouse. With this release, we're not only adding support for further objects, but also expanding the ways you can access and filter the data so that you can get the exact results you need. The second thing may look small, but it has a significant impact long term. This is the ability to access the Pardot API using Salesforce for authentication. Instead of creating separate users in Pardot just for the Pardot API, you will be able to authenticate into Salesforce before subsequent Pardot API request. This lets you manage all your Pardot access points from within Salesforce and opens up the full range of security options that Salesforce provides for API access. Speaking of users, the last great new platform feature we'll cover for this release is a huge update to User Sync. Starting this release, you'll be able to easily manage user or even API access for Pardot across multiple business units, all within Salesforce setup. Salesforce User Sync now provides multiple different ways to specify which users have Pardot access. You can add users to Pardot based on not only the individual username, but also by groups and roles, even including subordinates. Users will then be automatically added or removed from Pardot access based on their group or role membership. User Sync will also simplify and secure your user access in Pardot and Salesforce by letting you easily set which users are marketing users and which are sales users. By delineating exactly which users are which, you'll be able to more easily match marketing data sharing and authorization rules to the actual required access. Lastly, Salesforce User Sync is built from the ground up to simplify Pardot business unit administration. From within Salesforce Setup, you can easily switch between the user management of different business units from one place, whether those users are unique per business unit, or even if the same user needs access to multiple business units. That's a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive in with a demo. Now that I'm in my org, I can go to Salesforce Setup to manage my Pardot users. Here I have access to manage users for both of my existing business units. Let's start with adding users to the Europe business unit. Here I can view which users are assigned as marketing users and might need full access, and which users are sales users with just access to their assigned leads or contacts. For now, there's no one assigned. We'll update this by clicking Edit User Assignments. From here, I can not only add by individual users, but also by role or public group. As users are added or removed from that group, they'll subsequently be added or removed from Pardot access, thus keeping access in sync without additional overhead. And with the additional assignment options, I have that much more flexibility in determining how to make those assignments. For Europe, let's add our Director of Marketing Europe and our VP of Marketing roles. We can then switch over to groups and add our System Admins group. Now that we have our marketing users assigned, we can move on to our sales users. In this case, we just want the sales reps group. That looks good, so I can save and now go back to the previous screen. My groups are set up the way I want and will keep everything maintained behind the scenes without having to switch users in and out from within Pardot. I can verify exactly which users are assigned at any time from clicking View All Users here. And that's it. I'm able to easily ensure the right users have access to the right records and leverage the flexibility of my existing user setup through groups, roles, and profiles to ensure the list is current. This functionality is available to all Pardot customers that are connected to Salesforce. Right now, I'm demoing with multiple business units, but it's also available for customers without business units. And by managing users, even API access, this enables us to standardize and simplify through Salesforce all the security details for managing users, ensuring you don't have to go multiple places to manage access and that your org has the maximum set of security options available. And that's it for my section on the platform. Let's hand back off to Allison to see what's coming down the line for productivity.
Thanks, Nathan. Let's now move into our next roadmap theme of productivity. When we think about marketer productivity, we're looking to deliver capabilities to help you do more with less because we know that demand on your time is high. One of the things we've seen from successful customers is having a tight integration between their sales, marketing, and services teams. We want to help make that integration smoother with the introduction of Pardot's first standard actions for leads and contacts, providing marketing power at the fingertips of your sales and services teams. The first of these new actions is Add to Pardot List. This new feature empowers sales and service with the ability to segment out their leads and contacts and pass them directly back to their marketing team for further nurturing. They can complete these actions from list and record views, amplifying their normal workflows. We are also introducing a new way for sales and service to directly add their leads and contacts to nurture programs. With the Add to Engagement Studio list action, your team can directly pass their leads or contacts into a marketing-provided nurture without ever leaving their Salesforce flows. They can now add these records in bulk or individually, and as a result, easily pass those customers into the right buying experience. And the best news here is that all of these actions are available for all Pardot editions with extremely easy setup. The next feature I want to share with you is the Opportunity Engagement History Dashboard. This dashboard helps marketers tell the story of how they influenced an opportunity before it started, all the way until after it's closed. Marketers can use contact role filters to zoom in on an activity from people who had roles in the opportunity, as well as those the salespeople might not have identified correctly. Now I'd like to jump into Pardot to show you these new enhancements. The new Add to Pardot List and Add to Pardot Engagement Studio list actions provide a way for your sales team to collaborate with marketing and allow them to pass the leads and contacts that need further nurturing right within their current workflows. Let's take a look at that experience from a sales user's perspective. Our sales user is looking through their leads and has identified some that could use additional communications from the marketing team. She starts off by selecting a couple of leads from the list. She then looks at table actions where she sees both the new Add to Pardot List and Add to Pardot Engagement Studio list actions. She selects Add to Pardot List and a modal launches. The search box allows her to search for and select up to 5 lists. Once she's finished picking her list, she clicks Add and the leads will be added to the selected list. If she had wanted to add the leads to an engagement program instead, the same process could be followed, but Add to a Pardot Engagement Studio list would be selected from the table actions instead. Our sales user has just realized one of these leads could use further nurturing, so she navigates to the lead record. Then selects the Add to Pardot Engagement Studio list action. The Add to Engagement Studio list modal will provide a search box to look for lists. However, only static lists that are used as a recipient list in an Engagement Studio program will appear in these search results. She begins to search for sign up and sees results. As soon as she selects an option, the right panel is populated with information on any related program that is utilizing the selected list as a recipient list. With a glance, the sales user can get the details they need to understand what each nurturing program is built to accomplish. When she's done picking her list, she clicks Add, and the lead will be added directly to the selected list. As you can see, it's one easy collaboration all right within the platform. Now let's take a look at the new Opportunity Engagement History Dashboard. This dashboard helps marketers tell the story of how they influenced an opportunity before it started and after it closed. Here I'm going to select the decision maker, the economic buyer, business user, and a contact who showed up in a lot of the sales meetings but wasn't identified with the role. Let's say the marketer wants to focus on a specific campaign. They can actually select it from the Activity by Campaign widget. Then the dashboard filters down the data to activity just from that campaign. I hope you are excited to go try these new productivity capabilities. I'll now hand things over to Prasanna to talk to you about analytics.
Thanks, Allison. Hi, everyone. I'm Prasanna Vijayakumar, Director of Product Management here at Pardot. My teams work on content and analytics, and I'm going to talk to you about some recent enhancements we've made to our analytics product. With all the things we're doing to help you more productive, we want to help you understand what's working, what's not. We want to surface intelligent, actionable insights that help inform data-driven decisions. Let's take a look at our recently released analytics features, including our new product, B2B MA Plus, and improvements to the setup of the current B2B MA app. I am thrilled to introduce B2B Marketing Analytics Plus, our latest analytics product providing intelligent experiences everywhere for every Salesforce B2B marketer. With B2B Marketing Analytics Plus, marketers will have access to a complete analytics platform that's built right into your CRM. It's a fully connected, intelligent, and enterprise-ready analytics experience that ties together all of your data across all your marketing applications and business units. We enhance this even further with predictive insights and recommendations. You'll be able to fully understand what has happened with all your campaigns, why it happened, what will happen, what smart suggestions, and what you should do next to intelligently maximize ROI at every stage of the funnel. B2B Marketing Analytics Plus will be generally available in summer 20. Please be on the lookout for more information on this product as we approach the summer 20 release date in July. With this summer 20 release, we're introducing a brand new experience for admins setting up the B2B Marketing Analytics app. The Setup Assistant provides a thoughtful, embedded, self-service setup experience with contextual help and links to important configuration steps. This will really help admins enable the right features and configure their orgs in the best way to get the most value out of their B2B marketing analytics experience. Talking about B2B MA Plus was great, but I think it would be even better if we went through it live. B2B MA Plus allows you to connect to external systems or sources of data to create new data sets that you can build custom dashboards and predictive models on top of. We didn't want to leave you with a blank canvas, so we created two intelligent apps with out-of-the-box predictive models to help you get started: Intelligent ABM and Marketing Campaign Intelligence. I'm going to give you a little harbor cruise of the two apps. We'll start with Intelligent ABM. Einstein's predictive capabilities are also baked into our ABM reporting with an Einstein discovery story that helps B2B teams maximize the value of their pipeline. The account-based marketing app gives marketers a 360-degree view of their accounts. Marketers can dive into their top accounts and hone in on their predicted pipeline value. On the pipeline value dashboard, you can explore your current marketing impact on the current pipeline, including understanding predicted account values. On the account dashboard, you can drill down into your accounts by region and understand your account reach over time. You can even dive into your closed opportunities to gain insights from your closed business through the closed opportunities dashboard. Now let's take a look at the Marketing Campaign Intelligence app. This app reveals connections between sales and marketing efforts. We can discover which campaigns are driving and maximizing your ROI. The Campaign Engagement Dashboard allows you to better understand and identify the audiences that best engage with your campaigns and related assets. The Maximize My Engagement story allows users to understand and identify which audiences will engage most with your campaigns and campaign assets. You can predict campaign engagement relative to audiences and various prospect attributes. There's lots more to see with B2B MA Plus, so please keep an eye out for more information and deep dives into the product. As we saw, with analytics, we have access to a lot of rich data. But when we have so much data at our fingertips, it can be hard to know what to do with it all. That's where Einstein and the power of AI come into play. We're putting the power of machine learning to work to enhance your marketing. Let's take a look at our recently released intelligence features. In the Summer 20 release, Einstein Attribution is generally available. This new AI-driven multi-touch attribution model analyzes all the customer journeys and the conversation patterns of your campaigns to create a customized model which is unique for every organization. This model takes the guesswork out of the equation by accurately distributing the conversion credit across the different influencing campaigns and the most effective channels. This new analysis will generate a broader picture of the total revenue that is being influenced by marketing, helping you to better attribute the value of your marketing efforts to pipeline and revenue. And now I'm going to hand it off to Nathan, who's going to talk to us about what's coming up next on the Pardot roadmap.
Thanks, Prasanna. Now we're going to talk about what's coming into the future and some of the great exciting things we have planned for the Pardot platform. So let's take a look. You may have heard about the new email content builder that's in beta. This is really exciting as it's a powerful new interface for creating more fantastic content. We don't want to stop there. Not only will you be able to create beautiful content with your email templates on a modern, extensible drag and drop builder, you'll also be able to create email and send in a new experience in the Lightning app. And once sent, the Lightning Send experience provides a rich set of metrics, letting you view effectiveness not only for the individual send, but also for multiple sends over time. For customers with business units, the send experience works out of the box. You can send email content to different audiences across business units and still capture that rich roll-up engagement at the asset and campaign level. Speaking of business units, we have many more exciting updates over the next couple of releases. The first is the ability to have the same customer across multiple business units. This allows marketers to see a cross-business unit marketing perspective on an individual leader contact so you can better understand how different business units are marketing to the same customer. Second, through asset and config syndication, you'll be able to manage data across your company simply and securely. Whether you need to ensure all business units have access to the same great marketing content, or whether you need configuration standardization and best practices across your enterprise. Third, by standardizing on the Salesforce individual object model and Pardot's consent roadmap, Pardot business units will be able to leverage cross-business unit consent. This will ensure that each interaction with your customers respects their privacy and consent preferences. Lastly, Pardot business units can unlock the power of AI across your enterprise. By bringing more of your data onto the platform, we can leverage Einstein to generate new insights, from marketing effectiveness to cross-selling efforts. Back to the needs of our marketing developers, we're hard at work on the next version of the Pardot API with full content create, read, and update. This allows a whole new set of data flows in and out of Pardot, opening up possibilities from powerful new tooling from our great ISV integrations to whole new data connections through tools such as MuleSoft. With webhooks and action callouts, you'll be able to not only get to the data you need, but also to tie in additional actions to Pardot's data and automations flow. These will let you more tightly integrate events in Pardot to actions in third-party systems. And lastly, similar to business unit replication, admins will also be able to replicate configuration and assets between sandboxes and production orgs using standard Salesforce replication tooling. You'll have even more confidence about the changes you are making before running in production, as well as ensuring that you're taking care of any compliance or auditing needs required in your org. That concludes our look into the future for the platform. I'm going to hand it back to Allison to guide us through the future for productivity.
Thanks again, Nathan. We know that productivity is important and the roadmap is filled to the brim with exciting features. So let's take a peek. Productivity and efficiency has been a large focus for the last several releases, and it will continue to be a focus in the future. We know that cloning a campaign in the past would provide a blank slate to restart your marketing initiatives. While this saves time, we've heard your feedback that you need a way to repeat success with some of or all the assets like landing pages, forms, and snippets related to that campaign. Campaign and asset cloning will provide just that. Cross-business unit campaign hierarchies will allow our customers to accurately model, execute, and report on campaigns that run in multiple business units. Create a parent campaign that spans child campaigns in different business units, and you can aggregate engagement metrics and response rates from multiple business units up to the parent campaign metrics and reporting. The next feature I want to share with you here is Pardot's Smart Email Scanner Detection, which will filter out automated click activity on emails so that you can be sure you can trust the data you see. Pardot is constantly monitoring for email clicks that are coming from spam filters and security scanners to prevent them from polluting real click data from real prospects. Our proprietary algorithm effectively filters out activity based on click behavior in a way that is always up to date. You don't have to worry about inflated click-through rates or MQLs getting handed to sales based on a click from a spam filter. Historically, Salesforce campaigns are focused on contacts and leads, but many of our customers and their marketing teams are focused on accounts. We have delivered account and campaign-related lists. The next step is to allow our customers to add accounts directly to campaigns. Often you want a campaign that targets accounts, but either you don't have contacts yet, or you want to target all the contacts in the account. Account-based campaigns will be a powerful tool in the ABM arsenal. Additionally, we will look to provide richer experiences for building and maintaining account-based lists or segments for our marketers who focus on accounts. Now on to Prasanna to talk about what's ahead for analytics.
Thanks, Allison. Let's dig into what's coming up on the analytics roadmap. As more customers embrace multiple business units, the need to compare performance and engagement across business units emerges. In B2B MA Plus, you'll soon have access to the Global Analytics Intelligence app template, an aggregated analytics experience that makes it easier for marketers to understand what's happening with campaigns, assets, and prospects across business units. B2B MA Plus provides a connected, intelligent, enterprise-ready analytics experience with out-of-the-box Einstein Discovery integration, allowing marketers to identify potential cross-selling opportunities across business units. Over the years, we've seen an increase in data, customer-facing channels, and technology enhancements. For marketers, this has meant harnessing more customer data than ever before to deliver world-class programs. But to deliver highly personalized programs, marketers need actionable data about people and accounts. With Customer 360 Audiences, we will provide a next-generation customer data platform to be the single source of truth to unify, identify, and segment known and unknown data. Now let's take a quick look forward at what's coming up next for Pardot Einstein. Let's start with account-based Einstein attribution. To further enable successful ABM programs, the account-based Einstein attribution model will offer a holistic view of marketing influence on key accounts, providing you the much-needed visibility into the actual contribution of your personalized marketing efforts. And with Einstein for ABM, we will enable B2B marketers and sales professionals to align and focus on the right accounts that will lead to qualified pipeline growth. It takes the guesswork out of traditional account prospecting prioritization and account-based marketing target account selection by analyzing engagement-based buying signals and account characteristics to identify the accounts that are most likely to make a purchase. And with Pardot, email is at the heart of so much of your marketing automation. But we want Einstein to help you make sure that your emails are reaching your prospects in an optimal way. On our roadmap, Einstein will increase your success with email by sending emails when your prospects are most likely to interact with them. Einstein can also help you get your email frequency right based on the interaction level of every single prospect. And with Einstein helping you keep your list clean and your bounces low, you can make sure your email reputation is positive and every email you send is making it to the inbox. And that is what we have coming up for Pardot Einstein. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Allison, who's going to help us wrap up.
Thanks again, Prasanna. With Pardot, all of the capabilities we talked about today reside within one platform, allowing you to connect the entire customer journey across sales, service, marketing, commerce, and every customer touchpoint. And with that, you've gotten an update on some of our most exciting recent feature releases, as well as what's ahead on our roadmap. We encourage each of you to check out these great Pardot resources. Each release, we publish a blog post with highlights of the top new features. In addition, the Pardot release page provides a quick summary for each new feature delivered in a release. And of course, there are always the tried and true Salesforce release notes, which provide brief feature descriptions along with setup information, tips to help you get started, and best practices to ensure your continued success. Thank you again for taking the time to join us all today to talk about Pardot. We hope that you are excited for the Summer 20 release and all that's ahead for Pardot. Back to you, Elna.
Okay, so here we are ready to take your questions, and we got some great questions coming in. Keep them coming. Remember, you can post them in the Release Readiness Trailblazers community and use the hashtag Salesforce Live or on Twitter. And if you're fast and you still have a question, we might actually still get to it if you're entering it now. So let's go ahead and dive in, starting with Mac. So he was asking if responsive landing pages will be available out of the box, or will they require custom development?
Sure, I can take that question, Elna. So we are planning on building out a new landing page editor, so safe harbor around that statement. And the plan is, yes, to make the landing pages available through there to be responsive out of the box. That's correct.
Great. And there are a couple of questions about the sandboxes, lots of excitement about that. That's great. Can you talk a little bit about how the sandboxes actually work with respect to the Salesforce sandboxes? And there are some detailed questions that we're also answering in the community.
Sure, happy to talk about that. So the goal of the Pardot Sandbox is really to work well with your Salesforce sandbox. So it's to be able to go into your Salesforce sandbox and test out Pardot and see how it's interacting with all your data. So for this release, it's included in Pardot Advanced, and it basically will be two Pardot sandboxes, which you can turn on within a Salesforce full sandbox. And with that, you can do everything that you could in the normal Salesforce sandbox. You just now have Pardot access as well. So you can spin up business units, you can test out V2 connector, you can test out the sync, marketing data sharing, all that great stuff will be available right from within the Salesforce sandbox.
Nice. So it isn't separate, it's actually integrated with the Salesforce sandbox.
Right. Just as Pardot and Salesforce have been growing more and more integrated over the years, this is a way to continue to leverage that integration, to leverage what we've been able to build by working more and more on platform.
Great. Thank you. A question from Randy about B2BMA Plus. Is that a paid add-on, and what editions is it available in?
Oh, great question. So B2BMA Plus is included with, there's a new edition of Pardot called Pardot Premium. So it is included with Premium, but it is also available as an add-on for Plus and Advanced.
Gotcha. And then this is from Pamela. She has two questions. I'll start with the first one. Are the new user sync features available for customers who have one business unit using a V1 connector and a second business unit using the V2 connector?
That is a good question. The V1 V2 connector has been a great journey over the year. So one piece of good news for that is we are opening up the opportunity to migrate existing legacy business units from the V1 to the V2 connector so that both business units can actually leverage the V2 connector. So that will be available with this release as well. That will then turn on the ability to have the same user in multiple business units at the same time. And with that, user sync is actually going to work with V1 and V2 connector, but you'll be able to manage all of your users directly within Salesforce and have that great administrative experience right from there.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. And her second question is, how does an admin set up admin and sales manager users? In the demo, she saw marketing and sales users, but she's curious about those other roles.
Yeah, so there's still a few levels in terms of how the users are being set up. So on the Salesforce side, we're focusing on, you have the marketing admin who has access to Salesforce app and can turn on business units, make the user sync adjustments, and so on and so forth. Then from there, you're looking at adjusting the marketing users and the sales users, which works on how you're sharing data, making sure that all your sharing rules are consistent across business units. From there, that will actually still sync to Pardot, and you'll be able to set more granular settings within Pardot as well. So that's how you would adjust if you have, say, custom roles for now. We want to continue over time to move that more and more to be fully platform and to centralize that. But right now, the overarching, who has access to Pardot and what level of access, that's set in Salesforce. And the more detailed, what can you actually do within Pardot would give that fine tuning will be within the Pardot settings in the Lightning app.
Great, thank you. And Mac is asking, so you mentioned in the roadmap section, marketing to customers across business units. Does this mean that we'll be able to sync prospects to multiple business units?
Yes, that is very much the goal. We want to be able to enable multiple marketing efforts to coordinate on an individual leader contact so that you can go into that lead in contact and understand how your marketing effort is working without having to do duplicate leads or contacts across different business units and be able to leverage what we can through the platform and all the great features we have with that.
Okay, thanks. And Kimberly was wondering, do you need to pay for separate sandboxes on the Pardot side to use the new functionality, or do you just get it as long as you have Salesforce sandboxes?
So it's right now for advanced and the new SKU that Prasanna mentioned, premium. And right now we're looking to match that with a number of business units that you have. So with two Pardot business units in Pardot Advanced, you have two Pardot sandboxes, and we'll have additional as we scale out. And then we're going to provide that over time as an add-on to further customers.
Gotcha. So which edition did you say that was?
That was advanced and the newest SKU that's going to be coming out in a little bit.
Okay, cool. Jeff was asking, is the B2B MA Plus capable of working with custom objects or only standard objects? He says, I have a custom version of the opportunity object, which makes lots of the out-of-the-box attribution not work.
Ah, I got you. So the out-the-box reporting it's focused to work with the standard objects, but there's a way to customize, I think, to be able to pull in data from custom objects inside Salesforce. So I can follow up with you in the community, but I'm pretty sure we should be able to do that. It's just not the out-the-box reporting won't do that. You'll have to customize a bit.
Gotcha. Jason was asking, if you're trying to decide whether to use Pardot versus Marketing Cloud, what would you say, what is the primary deciding factor? Is it B2B versus B2C, or, is that essentially the delineating factor?
Sure, I can start the answer on this one, and Nathan could probably jump in here. So I would say primarily that's one of the differentiating factors, right? I think it comes down to your marketing needs. If you're very much focused around like marketing to accounts, I think Pardot's definitely a better fit for that type of environment versus something that's a bit more transactional. In which case, Marketing Cloud is a great fit for that.
Great, thanks. Now, if you want to use B2B marketing analytics, do you need the Einstein Analytics license?
No. So if you're talking about the new SKU, so B2B MA Plus does not require an Einstein Analytics license, right? So we do include 5 user licenses with it. If you do want to purchase additional licenses, you will be buying an EA license, but you don't need to buy that in advance of this if you're getting B2B MA Plus.
Okay, so could you just expand a little bit more specifically on what is the difference between B2B MA and B2B MA Plus?
That's a great question. So I'd probably say there's 3 key differences I'd really hone in on. So the first difference is predictive capabilities, right? So B2B MA, which we have in market, it's been our stalwart for a long time, doesn't have predictive capabilities, right? It's combining sales and marketing data. Whereas B2B MA Plus actually comes with 2 out-the-box models. One is focused on helping you maximize the size of your opportunity with intelligent ABM. The second is looking at helping you predict the amount of how much engagement you're going to get out of your planned campaigns, as well as the ability to actually build out your own models. So that's differentiator number 1. The second place actually comes to access to data. And so with B2B MA, you very much focus again on Pardot plus your Salesforce data, versus with B2B MA Plus, you actually have a connector library. So there's things like you can pull in from Google Analytics. If you want to connect to databases like S3, Redshift, there are some out-the-box connectors that you can use. In addition, we have more on the way. And then finally, there's a really big difference in data row limit. So B2B MA, I think, is right around 35 million rows versus B2B MA Plus gets you into the 1 billion row club.
That was my next question. What were the row limits? And so I can see there's definitely a difference between the two. Are there any out-of-the-box predictive models included with B2B MA Plus?
Absolutely, yeah. So there's 2 apps that you're getting when this goes live. So the first app is Intelligent ABM. So the out-the-box model in that helps you maximize. So Einstein will give you prediction against your opportunity size and give you a predicted size of the opportunity. And then the second model is with Marketing Campaign Intelligence app, and that gives you predictions against campaign engagement or engagement against your planned campaigns.
Great, thanks, Prasanna. So I have a couple of questions for Allison now. The first one is, where are the Add to Pardot and Engagement Studio list actions available in Salesforce?
Yeah, so these new actions can actually be added to the lead record and list view, and then the contact record and list view. So both of those are really where you can actually find those.
They're just out of the box actions, and you would just add them via app builder?
You got it included for every Pardot user. Absolutely.
Excellent. Nice. Does the Opportunity Engagement History Dashboard require Pardot Einstein to be enabled?
No, it does not. So we're actually using engagement data from Pardot that's specific to the account and opportunity. So Einstein is not required for this to work.
Okay, gotcha. And what lists will show up to the end user when the add to Pardot or add to Engagement Studio list actions are used?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the list has to be set as CRM visible. It has to be a static list. It has to match your folder permissions as a user so that you can actually have access to that particular list. And then if you are going to use the Add to Engagement Studio list action, it also needs to be a list that's actively being used as a recipient list for at least one program.
Gotcha.
Sorry, and I also want to make one quick correction to something I said earlier. So the role limit for B2B MA is 25 million, and the role of B2B MA Plus is 1 billion. So I just wanted to correct. I think I said 35 when I was speaking. I just wanted to make sure I called that out.
Got it. Another one for Allison from Ursula. For the addition of leads to Pardot list, are you able to limit which list display for sales, or will all Pardot lists show up of the ones that you had marked as, I guess, CRM visible, like you mentioned?
Yeah, so right now, any list that is marked as CRM would display, but there certainly would be the option to utilize, folder permissions to, allow people to only see certain folders and therefore they only have access to specific lists. So it is, by default going to show everything that's CRM visible, but you do have some control utilizing those folder permissions.
So, speaking of list views, will Pardot be updated to have list views that are designed just like the list views in Salesforce, so it's more familiar?
Yeah, I can take that one. We are continuing to move forward on the Lightning app and driving that forward. And that has more and more interface that integrates very tightly into Salesforce. So as we drive new objects and new options within Pardot, those will automatically be pulling in all the great features and all the great UI elements of Salesforce. So we'll continue to push forward on that and to have a great cohesive experience all within the Lightning app.
Now, speaking of those list actions, are they also available as report actions?
They are not at this time. Certainly something we'd hear more about use cases. So if that's something that you have a use case for, we would love to hear more about that in the community. But right now it is not available.
It almost seems synonymous with the add to campaign action. So like there's an add to campaign action in list view, and it also, I think a little bit later became available for reports as well. So kind of following the same model, I could see how people would want to see that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And definitely interested to hear more about, what kind of use cases that would be for. And that really helps us with our roadmap planning, is to hear all those reasons why we might go that direction next.
Yep. Thanks. Now, another question I think this is for Nathan. How does the updated user sync support the Pardot only login retirement that was just announced?
Yeah, so we just announced this earlier this week. We are moving to standardize our authentication model onto Salesforce, to use Salesforce as the primary auth for API as well as user login. So with that, we want to leverage several things with that. One is, of course, just security, being able to bring in all the great security options that Salesforce provides and centralize. So you only have one place to go to manage how users log in and make sure you're following best practices. So with the user sync, that's being able to bring together all of your users to one place. You can easily see from just one screen who actually has access to Pardot, not have to switch between Salesforce and Pardot to compare Pardot only users versus Salesforce users. So it's definitely a huge milestone in being able to centralize administration across Salesforce with Pardot and be able to support that. Again, we're providing additional identity licenses that will enable the transition, so it should be no additional cost to customers as well.
That's really nice, putting things in one place. It's always more efficient, and I think we had some feedback on that too. That's a really great advancement to be able to manage your users in the same place. Also, will legacy Pardot business units get access to the business unit switcher? And what kinds of licenses are required for the new API authorization?
Yeah, the legacy business units will be able to upgrade to V2 connector and get the business unit switcher that way. So we'll have full feature parity between legacy business units and brand new business units. So we're excited about that feature coming out. And for the API access, we'll be able to grant that to anyone from an identity license all the way to a full CRM license. There's no real minimal requirement. You just need to be able to do authorization into Salesforce.
I think Elna might be muted.
Sorry about that. Mac was also asking if the Pardot environment will be updated to function just like Salesforce. For example, will it be better about supporting the browser back button or open in a new tab, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we're continuing to iterate on the Pardot Lightning App. We've actually been quietly releasing small little features over the last year, things like better link structure, which actually helps out with a lot of the navigation, such as the ability to do back. I think we've got some additional changes to better support open link and new tab. These are all things we're continuing to drive on and improve on, and is definitely on a roadmap and definitely working hard towards.
So Randy has got automation on the mind because we just did Lightning Flow earlier today. So she's asking, are the Pardot actions available in Process Builder and Flow?
In terms of the add to list and add to engagement,
I think that's what she means, yeah.
they are not right now. They're specific to the lead and contact records, but that definitely is another area we'd love to hear more use cases and look at future opportunities for that feature.
Right. And Andy was asking, I'm going through the considerations for implementing the Pardot Lightning app. How do I know what Pardot connector version I'm on?
So there's an easy way to find that out, which is to go to the Pardot settings within the Lightning app and go to your connector information. It'll tell you V1, V2. A quick rule of thumb too is if you created the account after the February release of last year, it's probably V2. But again, we're actually very excited because this question has come up so much that you'll be able to upgrade from V1 to V2 and have that as a baseline for Lightning app enablement and not have to walk through the additional matrix of steps.
So when you're upgrading from V1 to V2, are there any considerations or gotchas that you need to keep in mind, or anything that you would need to test? Any things that you would need to change or in configuration, or?
Not particularly. Again, the primary advantages of the V2 connector, it doesn't require a Salesforce license. It has its own built-in license. It also stabilizes on its permissions, so it guarantees it has access to all the right objects. You don't have to worry about the additional configuration with that. One consideration is with the closer and closer tightening of Pardot to Salesforce, and with the addition of features like sandboxes, use cases where you might want to move a Pardot org around multiple Salesforce orgs, that increasingly is really not a great option. There's just challenges with breaking apart your data model and breaking apart the sync process. So V2 connector does push you farther away from that, and because it solidifies your connection to that Salesforce org, that's going to be the org going forward.
So would you recommend that most customers think about upgrading the connector?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just because of the additional stability it provides, the additional user license it frees up, you don't have to worry about that. And that we're working to make so much of that behind the scenes, so you just don't have to worry about that.
Right. And is the version 2 connector required to use the user sync feature?
No, it's actually not, but we do recommend it. Going forward, we'll recommend everyone move forward to the V2 connector just to level set.
Okay. Let's see, I see another couple of questions are coming in. One is from Ross. Will the summer 20 update include email sending controls to help prevent spam and bounces, etc.?
I believe, I'm trying to think back if that was immediate or if that's on the roadmap. Praz or Nathan, do you remember? I believe that
There's work coming, I know, to capture ghost clicks. So
yes,
the scanner clicks. From a deliverability perspective, I think it's something we'll probably have to follow up with you on the community on.
Yeah.
Okay. And Andy did have a follow-up question regarding the Lightning app. So how do you actually get to it?
Definitely understandable. First of all, just go through the implementation guide and just that's the first step. Go through and double check all those steps. After that is just a Salesforce app in the Lightning App chooser, like all the other apps, and you can navigate to there as long as you have permissions. We are restricting Lightning App to folks with sales, CM, or service license. So I'd confirm things like that, and that's all laid out in the Lightning App. So just double check all those steps.
Gotcha.
And I'll shamelessly plug that there's lots of goodies with the Lightning app. So there's lots of our new standard reporting with the engagement history dashboards that you get with the Lightning app. So
Andy, make sure you've got that guide. Yeah, so maybe we can post a link to the guide if anyone is not familiar with the implementation guide, or they want us to give a link, just pop something in the community there and we'll respond with a link, or one of you guys can respond. Jen was asking, I've heard that the way the Pardot admin connection role will be changing and now act as a synced user. Okay, so the way the Pardot admin connection role will be changing, that's what she's heard. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I wonder if this is maybe referring to the connector user that was required with V1 connector, that we're moving that way again with V1 connector. We basically required a Salesforce admin role to be able to assign to that and to ensure we have all the right permissions. That goes away, and so the V2 connector creates its own user, it creates its own permission set, so you don't have to worry about that. And then after that, the synced users are all coming across built upon that. With that, it would just confirm that there is definitely a Pardot user assigned as a marketing as an admin to Pardot, and that should be it. But really the majority of access and who gets control to Pardot is all being managed from within Salesforce setup, and so that's the first place to go.
All right, I'm going to give one more quick check to see if anything new came in.
I did just want to follow up. I double checked that. It is on the roadmap. I thought it wasn't this release. It's upcoming in the future on the click detection. So we are going to be producing something called the Smart Email Scanner Detection feature. And that's on the roadmap where we'll be able to identify those clicks that are actually for spam filters and things like that. So I thought it was in the future, but just wanted to double check that that's on the roadmap and not in this upcoming release.
All right, thanks for looking that up on the fly. I appreciate that. So we're pretty much done with your questions. Keep them coming though. Feel free to keep posting them in the community as you think of them, or maybe you decide to watch the recording back and you might think of some more. We'll be meeting you out there. Come back and join us tomorrow. Thanks to the crew today for answering all the questions. And I think at this point we'll be signing off for today. And just keep talking to us and join us out there in Release Readiness Trailblazers, where all Release Readiness fans meet to be release ready.